Hi, I assume you're watching this video because you have one of my masks. Fits like this. Elastic around the ears and molded around the nose. So let's talk about how you care for your mask. This mask has craft elastic that I purchased at the dollar store for the ears. However, this will not last very long, and so it's meant to be replaced at some point. It's lined with white cotton, and this is in most cases 100% cotton that is on the front side. This was recycled fabric from some curtains that I once made. When you get the mask from me, you're welcome to wash it if you wish, although it was already washed before I worked with it. So I'm going to be working with some of these masks right now, so I'll just clean my hands. And one thing that you can do before you start wearing it is to take your hot iron and steam it a little bit. And that will sterilize it a bit for you. So let's take a look at one that doesn't have the elastics in it. This one doesn't have the elastics in it yet. I may have just given you 2 pieces of this craft elastic. You'll notice that I have a little bit of tape at this tip, and I use that because the ends will fray and it just makes it easier to work with. So I'll just show you how I did that. A little piece of painter's tape, and I just roll it around kind of on an angle so that I can get a nice point. So it kind of looks like this. Okay, to put it in the mask, pick up your mask and kind of flatten the channel from the top so that you open up the slot and then feed it through. This may work fine without the tape on it, but I just find I like to protect it from fraying too much as it goes through. Oh, there we go. So when it comes out, then you tie it to suit the wearer. Okay, and do the same on the other side, like that. Now, this won't last. If you have any good fabric elastic, this is 3/8 of an inch. I wasn't able to get a supply since the stores were all closed when I was starting to work on these masks, but I have this small amount. If you have some of this, that's perfect because it will wash well with the elastic. If you don't, another good idea is to use shoelaces. Here's some athletic shoelaces that I have, and there's a little bit of stretch in them, so these would be perfect. And then once you put it in, and it could be permanently in that mask. So I have a black one that I've already cut, so I'm going to use that. So here's half a black shoelace, and I have the other one for one side, one for the other, of course. So I could try to feed it in like this, and it might work just fine, but I find it a little easier to work with a safety pin. So here's my safety pin. I'm going to just feed it through the shoelace, and now feed it through the channel. Should easily come out the other side. Then tie it again to suit the wearer. And again, because this fabric is pretty sturdy, it should wash well, so you can tighten it when you're ready and then feed it through the channel just to hide the tied ends. In terms of washing, here's a mask that I washed by hand and I let it air dry. I just put some fabric soap here and rubbed it between my hands and rinsed it well and just let it air dry. Notice there's no elastic. I removed the craft elastic and it's now ready for a new elastic, or I can put the craft elastic back in. So I would at this point just use my iron, press it just to fix the pleats on both sides, and it's ready to go. Okay, so you can use whatever elastic or shoelaces you have handy to use the mask again. I wanted to mention one more thing, and that is that the molding here is happening because of pipe cleaners that I inserted in the top of these masks. Here's an example of one unfinished mask that has a green pipe cleaner in here. Okay, so the pipe cleaners will wash okay, but in the washing machine, when the mask comes out, it will be very, very messy looking, and you'll have to spend a little bit of time just straightening it out. Okay, but if you don't want to bother with that, it's a lot better, I think, to hand wash, as I mentioned before. Hand wash with good soap, rinse it out and let it air dry, and finally press it with the iron. Thanks for joining me on this first video for my mask making. I will follow up with some additional videos on how I made these masks for anybody who's interested in that. Thanks.